Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, race number 6 at Los Alamitos on Sunday kicks off the $1 pick 4. It's the co-feature on the card, the $75,000 EB Johnston Stakes. Bet the card, bet the pick 4 with a DRF Bets account. Sign up and get a 300% deposit match at bets.drf.com. Here's the field for race number 6, the EB Johnston Stakes. $75,000 is the purse. We got to talk about the number 3, Edwards Going Left. Multiple grade 1 placed, has all the fast races, but there's one big question surrounding Edwards Going Left as he enters the EB Johnston Stakes. Can he go 2 turns?
Yeah, and really that's the elephant in the room, because if you think he can go 2 turns successfully, then you're looking at a horse that makes plenty of sense. I don't know that I don't know that I look at him and say, well, if he can get 2 turns, he's just better than all these horses. I don't know that I'm ready to go that far, but at the same time, his credentials sort of speak for themselves. Multiple graded stakes place, grade 1 place for that matter. He's a nice horse. I think there's also something that we've got to throw out there that, okay, the 2 turns, that's a question in and of itself. Los Alamitos is a question. He's never raced here. So we've seen, like we say, I mean, it sounds like a broken record at this point. Los Al can make good horses look bad and bad horses look good. Edwards Going Left, I suppose 5-2 is value. I even at his best, I don't know that he's better. Well, I think he's comparable with the other 2 big horses in here.
I mean, all in all, he beat B Squared by 6, sprinting 3 starts back. Then he was in against City of Light and Bobby Abu Dhabi, in against City of Light and the Malibu. And last time out in the Bing Crosby off a 2.5-month layoff. I mean, Drayden might have had him in the 6th path entering the far turn, 4 wide all the way around the turn and into the stretch. And he just got beat 2 3/4 lengths by Ransom the Moon and Roy H. He's way the horse to beat, but I understand. It's in your head. Never bet a favorite doing something for the first time 2 turns for Edwards Going Left. The good news, if you're a fan, here's a positive formulator fact for John Sadler. Second off the layoff, sprint to route on dirt. 36%, 474 return on investment. Let's talk about the 1B Squared going turf to dirt again for trainer Doug O'Neill. This horse has run well without a victory at Los Alamitos in the past. He just missed behind Soy Fett in the Bertrando 3 starts back. If that race came down to ground loss, maybe B Squared ran just as well as Soy Fett, although I have a nagging feeling that he still should have won that race.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I've always been a fan of this horse. I think he's just a rock-solid one that shows up each and every time. Perhaps the ground loss piece, that's the difference maker. I kind of look at it and say, if you flip a coin, I think one wins one time and one wins the other time. I think they're just very, very equally matched and evenly matched. There is still a part of me that wonders what B Squared's best game is. I think he's a very versatile horse. I think he can go 2 turns. He can run on dirt. He can run on turf. I have a nagging feeling that he is still best going down the hill at Santa Anita. And guess what? That's going to be right around the corner. So I would wonder whether, win or lose here on Sunday afternoon, or Saturday, excuse me, I wonder if his next race ends up going down the hill.
I tend to agree. I think he's more of a 6.5, 7 horse. I think he can get the mile with the right trip. Maybe if you switch trips with Soy Fett, he wins that race by a nose. But I also tend to agree that you flip a coin between those 2 whenever they show up, especially at Los Alamitos, where both run well. Pace projectors got the 7 El Huerfano out there on the early lead. And El Huerfano, this is his game. Middle distance speed, and we haven't seen that from him lately. Last time out on the turf, I just don't think he's the same horse on the grass, sprinting 2 3 starts back. El Huerfano is finally going to get an opportunity, I think, now to clear off to the front, and if you leave him alone, he has races, if you go way back, that make him dangerous here.
He certainly does. This is his game. This is what he wants to do. Now, at the same time, I can look at it and say he's a little bit dirtied up because he hasn't been allowed to do what he wants. There's also a part of me that wonders if at 6 years old is he starting to lose a little bit, because his recent form, he just has not been all that strong. I know 3 back he ran okay, but keep in mind that was in May. We're talking months ago. I don't know what version of El Huerfano you're going to get. If you believe that there is still something left in the tank, he's interesting.
He may face a little bit of pressure from the 5, Touched by Autism, who reeled off 3 consecutive wins around 2 turns on dirt before being placed back on the grass last time out. And this horse I just don't think can stand up on turf. He is much better on dirt. His fig's still a little bit light, but it's nice to know he has that consistency. It's nice to know he has that tactical speed. Does he class up here? He's been in for a tag 2, 3, 4 back.
I don't know, to be honest, but I am interested in him at a big price, because like you say, those runs 2, 3, and 4 back, his last times going 2 turns on dirt, they're all very strong and they're all victories. The company that he was keeping is certainly subpar as opposed to what he's going to face here on Saturday. I'm interested in using him underneath at double-digit odds. I just don't know that he's good enough to win.
I think the two shades of victory can be a lot closer than where the pace projector has him, because he's stretching out off several sprints, and he was actually up close to the pace in his most recent race, going 6.5 furlongs at Del Mar, and boy, he was completely overmatched that day. That Tatters to Riches might turn out to be something. That $1 million purchase came back to win the Shared Belief with a 96 Beyer speed figure. I'm not saying that race all of a sudden makes Shades of Victory a contender. He's probably going to be the longest shot on the board in the EB Johnston, but he was coming out of a good race.
Yeah, to be honest with you, he's the kind of horse I'm going to look at and say, I'm imagining with Martin Pedroza aboard, they're on a send mission to try to get off to the front. And I understand the pace projector doesn't look at it that way, but again, we've talked about it. You have to handicap the pace projector and handicap the race. I think Pedroza sends, and they try to just get brave out there.
So if the 2 goes, the 7 goes or is close, the 5 goes or is close, the 3, Edwards Gone Left, stretching out's got to be relatively close to the pace. It could set things up for the 3 horses at the back of the pace projector, and we'll begin with Grecian Fire, a horse that's very versatile. Doesn't really matter if it's dirt, turf, or synth. He's going to fire every time. What bothers me is he was listed as a vet scratch on August the 22nd. Now, I know he's come back and he's worked well twice since then, but this is the kind of horse that he needs the right setup, he needs the right trip. Things need to go right for him.
Yeah, and I suppose if you want to use the Bertrando as sort of the barometer, in that, you know what, if he's going to get an honest pace, he's going to come with his effort. The problem is I'm still not convinced that he is quite as good as the horses like B Squared and Soy Fat.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the EB Johnston Stakes. We respect Edwards Going Left. We think he'll be a little bit too short. We'll try to go with value. You're going with the 2-time defending champion of this race, the 5 Soy Fat, who just loves Los Al.
Yeah, look, 5 for 9 lifetime, 7 times in the exacta. I liked him in that Brubaker at Del Mar, and I don't really know why. It was a combination of things. It was a little bit of an oddly run race. They just sort of lined up on the front end, and it was only a 4-horse field, and he just never really picked his feet up. He never threatened at any point. I'm hopeful second off the bench, getting back to Los Al, this is going to be sort of the remedy. I just think there's a scenario where if those horses are all intent on being forward, he can sit just off. He's effective off the pace. I know he's 10 years old, but he still fires. And I do wonder if, with Edwards Going Left in here, B Squared is going to take a little bit of money. I wonder if maybe you get every bit of the 3-1 or 7-2.
Give me numbers.
I'm going to go 5-1-4-3.
I'm hoping that you're right, that this pace is a little bit faster than Timeform US is expecting. I'd like to see B Squared break under Mario Gutierrez, maybe try to get a little bit off the rail behind the 3 or 4 speeds and come with 1 run. Distance, yes, a little bit of a question mark. He'll be a slightly better price, though, than the horse to beat, Edwards Going Left. I'll go 1-3-7 in the EB Johnston Stakes, the co-feature at Los Alamitos on Sunday. Bet it with a DRF Bets account. 300% deposit match for you at bets.drf.com. Approximate post time for the EB Johnston, 3:28 Pacific. Best of luck.